Three big games of footy, three not very close games. The Warriors and the Broncos we start off with, 20-6, and we talk about captaincies, guys. If you look at the first game of the week, there was, a lot of people thinking Titans would smash the Tigers, and then guys like Sexton were going to be great options to either bring into your side or captain, for example. Just remember that guys like him have to have amazing games to get 65 points, whereas you look at Payne Haas and he didn't have any attacking stats. 2 offloads, 6 tackle breaks, 45 tackles, 176 meters, and he gets 78. He's just such a safe option. And you look at him, he's averaging 71 for the first 4 weeks. And that's what can happen with guys like Nico Hines we've spoken about. Whether you're captaining, a lot of the halves can get great base stats, but if the game's a little bit more stop-start, if they're getting beat a little bit, there's going to be a few missed tackles in there. Their tackles might be lower for certain reasons. Kick meters might be down, whether it's, the other day it was wind related. So there's a few different, factors at play. Whereas Payne, that at a minimum, he's going to get that sort of 55 points and, some upside from there. And if he has, a game with limited negatives like he did yesterday, for example. So 78 for him. If you captained him, I'd say a lot of people will go back to just, sticking solid with him. And he had an incredible game. The Warriors were a lot better with Sean Johnson back at the helm, and it makes sense, especially with how bad Broncos played last week. It made sense for Warriors to come out and have a lot more direction and play a lot better. So that was that. Jazz Savanga played the 13 role, and Joshy Curran went to the edge. So Jazz is not going to be an option. We got Tohu coming back soon, so don't worry about him. Joshy Curran with 51 on that edge. So we had the 2 offloads, a couple of tackle breaks, just less tackles this week and less run meters to go with it. So a solid game overall, still averaging 57.5. If you brought him in after the first 2 games, you're probably a little bit annoyed with it. And that's just another example of trying to chase points. It's not something that you should be doing on a regular basis, but he's someone who's going to score pretty well overall, just somewhere in the mid-50s I would expect, rather than that 65, 70. Similar with Isaiah Yeo that we spoke about the other night. Adam Reynolds just doing solidly without being spectacular. He could be someone to cover that half position over the origin period, but again, not someone we want to talk about too much. Jesse Arthur's picked up a double, so he was really, really good. Obviously, went over pretty much untouched in that first try. It's not going to happen for him every week, but if you picked him up as that wing fullback center coverage, then he's done well. And I imagine a bunch of people will look to pick him up next week for a Tyrell Sloan or a Hamiso or something like that. So just keep that in mind, but it's not going to happen every week. Reece Walsh with 47 again, so still playing really well. 9 tackle breaks for him, but the 4 errors and the 3 missed tackles really dumb down his points there, unfortunately. But he'll always be a good option. Just we'll probably see a slight drop in his money gain, for example, over this next bunch of weeks. And just be aware, guys, that the point system and value per point has actually increased a little bit. So we thought it was about 12,500, and you can see here that averaging 48, 49 over the first his first couple of games saw him actually gain money. So it looks like at the moment, if you're going to average 50, you're going to be priced around the 700k mark, which we look at some of our guys that we have in our teams, whether it be a Kurt Mann, whether it be Isaac Tungo, even Stephen Crichton, and those types of guys that are averaging close to 50 at the moment, they're going to be priced up near 700k very, very quickly. So just be aware of that, the change in the point system, which has happened this year, and what they're valuing the point at. So that's very interesting, for Walsh to probably not go as good as we thought, but it shows that scoring is really difficult this year to get anywhere above that 50, 60. So if you can do that on a regular basis, you'll be priced accordingly. Johnson was solid as well with 47. So if he can get somewhere near that 50 average as well, then he'll be priced nicely. But somewhere around the mid 500s for him will be where he's at. Adam Fanua-Blake with 46 in his 58 minutes. So again, no real attacking sacks, no real offloads that a lot of people thought he was going to get. He seems to just be running it straight and very similar to what Tamalolo is usually like. So 46 for him, just not exactly what a lot of people would have hoped. And I think that unless you're wanting to keep him over the origin period, he could be someone you use to upgrade to a Cleary or something like that down the track. Flegler in his first game back had 40 tackles and a couple of offloads, so he was solid at 450, but again, probably not an option. Ewan Aiken with his 42, so he's done okay without being spectacular as well. The attacking stats just aren't there at the moment. He's not getting the ball as much. To run, so 83 meters, just not enough there. The tackles is fine. I'm happy with the 36, but just not getting the opportunity for attacking stats at the moment. It will possibly come, but at the same time, he's not someone that's a priority to get into your side. TC Rabadi played on the edge, so he was solid. Paddy Carrigan, unfortunately, has been absolutely dominating, and he was in this game as well at PPM over 1 with 34 points. But, unfortunately, it looks like he's going to have an MCL injury for him and a PCL injury for Hamiso, or the other way around. So both that sort of 3 to 6 week injury, which probably gives open a spot for someone like Kobe Hetherington or Payne Haas to play bigger minutes. So Kobe only played low minutes in this game, which we'll talk about shortly. But probably gives him an opportunity, and he becomes a potential buy target for next week. I have him in the head-to-head team, and he's kind of doing solid without being incredible at the moment, just because of the lack of minutes. So that's that for him. But we'll talk about Heatho a little bit more during the week. But definitely a potential option at around that 415k he's going to be after this week. So that's that. Herbie Farnworth back down to earth, obviously when Broncos didn't play as well, and he wasn't able to score a try. Eli Katoa, it's only 19 minutes off the bench, so I think he's a trade out now, unless there's an injury to one of the edge guys during the week or something like that. He's on the chopping block for sure. He'll be probably around that 400 and 460 after this week, with the 2 low scores in a row. Selvin Cobbo, if you have him, I think he has to go. He's just not scoring well enough, averaging 17.3. Not an option, unfortunately, and just going to lose cash at that 400k mark. Albert Kelly looks like he's going to be out with that Linz Frank mid-foot injury. Unfortunate, it looks like that's what he's got at the moment. And Billy Walters came on and covered him. Obviously didn't score too well, but we've seen what he can do in the 6 jersey when he gets to run the ball a little bit more. So obviously, his plan would have been to play in the middle, and he got moved into the 6 role, which he is used to, but just didn't have his best game. 3 missed tackles, an error, and a penalty. He can only improve from here, and I think that he's now going to be a hold. He should be getting that 6 jersey, but we'll find out a little bit more during the week. But anyway, that was the Warriors and the Broncos game. We moved to the Manly game up against the Raiders, and they definitely played a lot better. And how good was DCE? Another 67 for him. If you're thinking about trading him out, I think it's a very silly idea. You can see the consistency that he brings. A lot of people were thinking about DCE to Cleary. And DC is one of the top 5 best scorers in the game, and why can't you have both? For example, DC and Cleary together if you want to spend that much cash, or you just continue with his skill set and his points production. You're probably going to be in the top sort of 1,000 players at this point. That's what you can see with guys. If you have Ben Hunt, if you have Damien Cook, there's not too many guys averaging over 60, so hold on to them. They're absolute gold at the moment. But a 40-20 and also a 20-40 in the same game to go along with a field goal. He just does a little bit of everything, which is great. 666 meters also. Whiten's there. He's actually had a really, really good season so far. His points production has been great. He's scoring tries. He's making a fair few tackles as well, kicking the ball a decent amount without dominating that. Just scoring across the board. So 66 for him, averaging 53 now. I still don't think he's an option, and neither is CHN, but again, something to think about. Hudson Young also had a good game. Tommy Turbo's back with 51, so just slowly improving, but he's going to continue to lose a little bit of cash until I think he gets to around 750, 740, and then I think a lot of people will look to actually pick him up. Got the line break, got a try in there, 289 meters, so he's just doing a little bit of everything to help out his team, and they're going to get better. You can see that they improved. Roosters improved a lot. So those types of teams that are slowly getting back on track, you'll see Teddy, you'll see Turbo get a lot better and become options over the next few weeks. Joey Tarpany was solid. Again, one of those guys that we spoke about at the start of the year that would be up and down. He just doesn't get enough minutes, unfortunately. 3 offloads was solid, but still not enough for him. Horsburgh with 46, his PPM's always incredible. Ola Kawatu, that up and down scorer again, try saver, try assist, a try, really, really good player without, dominating on the fantasy scene. Tomoko, again, with 40 in his 80 minutes, so he's been okay. Again, not really an option. Tommy Starling, so 39 for him. Surely this minutes increases. I don't think Frawley's doing much in that first 20 minutes. Let me know what you guys think. Does he provide much direction or not? I think Starling's definitely more, a damaging ball runner. Had the odd kick out of dummy half. But, 4 missed tackles for him wasn't ideal. Had the offload, the tackle break. If he can get that minutes up, then he's going to be averaging close to a 50 and his price will skyrocket from there. But, obviously, if you picked him up this week like me, you would have been hoping for somewhere close to that 50, 55 that he got last week. But is what it is. It's still a good pickup, and he should increase his minutes, I'd say. And Frawley could be that cover on the bench rather than starting him and losing some minutes. So we'll see how that goes. Spoke about Rapana as being a potential cover option there, and he got 37, doing a little bit of everything again, so he was okay. Andrew Davey actually got the full 80 this week. We saw Bullimore get dropped with Josh Aloiai coming back, so Davey for the full 80. The PPM's still not there. He's just not running the ball as much as we saw before that ACL injury last year, so maybe he's still not 100% confident on it. It was a dry game, and you thought that maybe that would help him. But yeah, the other thing was maybe they're just not going left as much to him, rather than going out the back to the outside backs. But 37, he'll start to make some cash now if he continues that role. So he becomes a potential cash out option. Just be aware if Schuster, he's going to be fairly close to returning in the next few weeks. So that's that. Schneider. Just a bit of a nothing game for him. Didn't get to run the ball as much. Only the one goal. When they play better, he's going to score better as well. He'll get the goal kicks, the odd try assists and stuff as well. Only 141 kick meters. So everything was just down a bit, but he's going to continue to make money. And I think you can continue to play him week to week at this stage. All right, we get Cooler. He comes in as a nice cover option for us, but Brad Parker sounds like he had COVID. So unless he's able to take another, the other side in terms of Morgan Harper, or if he can hold his spot, then that would be cool. But if not, he's just going to be a wait and see. He's 220k and he's only got an average of 17, so he's not going to be making too much money at this point. So if he gets that opportunity at a long-term gig at that center position with that dual position, he's going to be great. But if you had to play him this week, or you have him from the start, then you're kind of a bit lucky there, and you might have been able to play him, especially if you're sitting there with the Tyrell Sloan or something. You need some cover, then Cooler could be a decent option for you. Anyone down the track, Kepi had a bit of a low game for his standards. Carl Lawton's going to continue to drop. Dylan Walker went off injured. Not exactly sure what the prognosis is with him. But a 9 was tough for anyone that owns him, 1.8%. So yeah, he's again, we'll find out a little bit more during the week, but yeah, it could be a bit annoying if you own him. Cowboys in the Roosters, just finish it off. So a bit of a strange game, obviously. The 3 sin bins for the Cowboys lads, pretty fair. The Townsend one at the end. Tom Gilbert, if you're an owner of him, we'll talk about him straight up. Actually, really low score, unfortunately, 14. So only 39 minutes for Tommy. With the sin bins, obviously it would have only been 70 max if he was going to get big minutes, but just didn't. They brought on Hillam Lukey and just didn't end up using Tom again. So the next 7, he obviously was scoring actually really well at the start of the game, and then really slowed down. Got the one missed tackle in there. Just nothing really was going perfect for him, and then just didn't play the rest of the game. So he's had 2 really amazing scores and 2 really poor ones. So he, at that price point, if you bought him in this week, is a bit of a worry. But there's every chance that he continues to play that edge and gets big minutes. But it was strange that he just didn't come back on. Maybe Peyton was disciplining him for getting sin binned. I'm not exactly sure. We may as well talk about Hamiso while we're here as well. And that 9 in 57 minutes. So. And then getting injured. Looks like he's going to be out for about a month as well. And just with the wing fullback position being very light on, you might have to go up to a gun. He's priced at 490, which is solid. He's going to be a lot less than that after this week, but you might have to go up to one of the superstar wing fullbacks, I think, with him. He's just, apart from that week 1, he hasn't been scoring very well anyway, so I think he could be someone that you could upgrade. All right, let's move back to the top. Victor Radley had his best game of the season by far. Was averaging in the mid to high 30s before this, and a try and a couple of line breaks. Just did a bit of everything in his 72 minutes, and don't expect that every week. But he was trying to play like Cam Murray, and how good he's been going over the last month, especially. So Rads was great, and of course Taumalolo comes out and gets 59 minutes and 61 points. He got a turnover tackle or 2 taken off him as well. He was at 71. Before updates last night. So if you held on to him, well done. There is still 6% that own him. But before this, he was averaging 40. So, hasn't been great. But the 37 tackles is really high for him. 3 offloads, a couple of tackle breaks. Just had a really, really good game. Only the 4 negatives. So, if you hold on to him, well done. Will he get 59 minutes every week? I'm not exactly sure. Potentially. But, some games he has gotten that low 50s as well, which would have dropped him down into the sort of low 50s score. Joey Manu, how special was he? 2 tries, 2 try assists, 5 tackle breaks, and the 14 tackles there as well. Just a great player. And this was, he was due for one of these games. He's only averaging low 30s, so a 58 was great. Could potentially become an option during the Origin period. He's going to be a little bit cheaper Again, anywhere around that 500k mark for Joey is pretty low compared with how he scored last year. You're going to lose Teddy over the origin period, so Joey would play a little bit of fullback. So there's some options there with what to do with him going forward. Dearden had another great game, 55. So again, not owned by very many people at 0.8. Very similar to Reece Robson there, but he's improving as a player. He's just does a little bit across the park, kicks a little bit, tackles well, a couple of turnover tackles as well. He's a solid, as we said, solid defender there. And again, could be an option at some point, but probably not right now. Collins, a decent game. Ruben Cotter with 51 in his 56 minutes. So he moved to the 13 role, and he's a workhorse, isn't he? 46 tackles, 91 meters, only the 3 misses. So if he can play anywhere around that 60 minutes there, he's going to be up to an average of 50, I'd say, and getting 100 or so thousand in value. And he has that hooker mid duel as well. So Cotter, very similar in the mold of Kobe Hetherington, and I'd suggest Hetherington's probably a better option at the cheaper price at this point. And we'll go from there. But a very good game for Cotter on the fantasy side of things. Tedesco, 48 in his 80, so a couple of try assists, 5 tackle breaks. Again, just doing enough without being spectacular. He's kind of almost holding his value with that sort of 60-odd break even. But he's there, right? That's all you can say for him. There's so many average wing fullbacks at the moment. So if you've got Ted, yes, it's probably slightly annoying. You're hoping for around a 60 average from him, but I think you can go with the fact that there's not too many guys doing well. So you've just got to hold on to Ted going forward. Jeremiah Nanai, I think he did get a fair few of these tackles, but there's so many of them that he goes to tackle them and then just puts a couple of hands on him. Oh, the other 2 blokes have got him. I'll just stay out. Where he could get like close to 50 tackles, playing 80 minutes, I think, for Jeremiah, and he doesn't do it. And then obviously, a few tackles that he goes for it and then goes, I'll just peel off and can get a couple of missed tackles as well. But for 42 and 80 minutes for a guy that's in the low 400s, I think was a good game for him. Especially when we know what could have happened. Again, when they're losing, he could get a lot more missed tackles. So much, happier with that than what it could have been. He'll still make cash. He's still, without any attacking stats, still did really well. So we're happy with Jeremiah there. Crichton's going to keep losing money. He'll become an option eventually. If you got Connor Watson, I think he's probably a sell now, guys. That's a couple of scores in a row that are low. We need him to getting close to 80 minutes, I think, for him to do really well playing in that 9 role. So I think he becomes a sell. Kiri's going to get super cheap. There's going to be a point there where he dominates, and it's not right now. Same with Sammy Walker. I think that, averaging 33.3 at that 470k price point, you can do so much better, I think. So Sammy's probably a trade out. Anyway, down the track, Harlem Lukey's going to lose a little bit more cash. Not many people have him, 1.9%. Do many people have Cleary? That's the question. 3.2. And how much does Sammy Walker? 6.7. Yeah, I think that's a big enough percentage to move him on. Tanoa Brown, a small percentage of people have him, and he got that 38 minutes. So again, he's never really been fantasy relevant. So that's that there. And then the last one will be Val Holmes. So 14 this week after his amazing score last week. Owned by a decent percentage as well. Has that dual position cover. I think you can hold on to him, and he'll do better when the Cowboys have a better game as well. It was just a weird one with the 3 sin bins and a lot happening there, guys. But if you enjoyed this, please hit like, subscribe, guys. I really appreciate it, and enjoy the 2 footy games today. And we'll jump in for our reviews, and let me know in the comments how your team's set up today. If you got 3, 4, 5 players, I think if you got 4 going into today, you'll probably make a few ranks. But that's that, guys. Hope you enjoy this. See you later.